Hello ladies and gents, this is another video brought to you by Antswood. Today's video is going to be an introduction stroke care video into my Anoplolepis yellow crazy ants. I don't even know why I bother trying to pronounce the Latin because I'm just useless. But anyway, now I know you guys are fully aware that I've got a Patreon page because I beat on about it every video. You know the score with it, you know there's channels, you know there's giveaway. So if you want to support my channel, please do. I am in the process of taking the money out of Patreon that I've currently got to get a mic to improve the sound quality of my videos. But anyway, these guys support me, so hopefully you guys can too. I'll put a link in the description below. I was actually gifted these from the Ant Lady, and if you can see here, this is a new website. It's been redesigned, looks really cool by the way. So check out our website, I'll put a link in the description below. And as I was making this little, I don't even know what you call it, where you record your screen, you can see that she's got ants for days. She's got loads of ants in stock, so definitely worth checking her out. I actually got my Solenopsis from her as well. As you can see, they're out of stock currently. And the crazy ants are currently out of stock. But here's the interesting point. She told me, should I say, she takes the crazy ants and the queens from her colony. And because they're inbreeding species, which I'll talk about in a bit, there's always a ready supply of queens as well. So I've had these for a while now. I don't know how long because I can't think off the top of my head, but they're doing well, but you'll see all that in a second. The current setup I've got them in is pretty much my standard that I use for all of my foundation colonies now, with a tubes and outworld setup. Well, when I'm not using a Venus nest, but I'm not talking about a Venus nest. Damn it. It's a really cheap, easy setup. The Outworld is from AliExpress. I order a couple at a time. They're like £4, which compared to the equivalent in the UK is like half the price, and that's including shipping, so well worth getting them, and they're really good for small species too. As the colony is still in the test tube, there's minimum disturbance to her once I get her and attach to the Outworld. And not only that though, if you've got workers, it's a great little setup to feed them without massively disturbing the queen by constantly moving around the test tube, etc. All I've done is light blocked it with a bit of foil, and if you've got a semi-colostral queen, which is a queen that actually still needs to go out and forage while she's in the foundation stage, this is also a great little setup for them too. But if we move on to the care requirements for these ants, they're not too difficult to look after, to be honest. The humidity requirements aren't too difficult to maintain at around 60 to 70%, but I would recommend sticking a probe in there anyway, so you can keep an eye on it, but that's just what I do. The temperature requirements are about 25 to 27 degrees C. Now, currently my ant cave sits above the 25 degrees anyway, so I'm not actually heating these guys yet, but come winter or when the temperature drops, heating is definitely something I need to consider. Now, what they generally eat is standard for ants. They need some form of carbohydrates. I use honey water and some protein. It does say from a wide range of protein sources, but I generally just feed them cockroaches currently. Their colony size can get up to 10,000 plus, so you need to be aware that these are fairly large ants, with the queen being 15 millimeters, should I say. I think it's 15 degrees. Geez, I'm losing my marbles. And the worker size being around 5 millimeters. So they are fairly big. They do get big in numbers, so you will need a larger setup if you have a successful colony. As I alluded to before, these girls have the trait that they can inbreed within the nest. So basically, males and females from this colony can inbreed and then produce reproductive queens. And because of that, they can often have multiple queens, which is why the Ant Lady can give me hers, well, from some of her personal colony, because they can produce multiple queens over and over, and they can have a large number of queens, which contributes to the fast growth of these colonies. The Ant Lady gave me some advice about these girls as well. She said that offer them honey water, but don't do it too often because they'll just become lazy and gorge themselves on the honey water and won't hunt the protein. So what I generally do is for half the week I offer them honey water along with protein, and the other half I just offer the protein and take the honey water out. As you can see with these girls here, they've gorged themselves on honey water because their thorax is well swollen, full of honey water. But they should I say, still taking protein from the cockroach that I've got in the fuzzy back screen. The Ant Lady also told me that they are very messy ants, so you always need a nest on standby for these girls, because when the nest gets mucky, dirty and stuff like that, you need to think about moving them off and moving them into a new nest so you can clean the old one out. So it's definitely worth a top tip, should I say, from the Ant Lady and from myself, that you always have a nest on standby for these girls. So if they start getting messy, then you can look at moving them into a clean setup. Now this is my Connolly itself. Unfortunately they came in a blue test tube. Well, I say unfortunately, they were free, so I can't complain. So filming them is a bit off colour, so just bear that in mind. But as you can clearly see, I've got at least 3 of the queens in shot, and I think the other queen's admin is in the background as well, so she's definitely there. Really good healthy Connolly, they're really active. You disturb them too much and they live by their name and go crazy and all run out into the outworld. That includes 2 or 3 queens as well, so the queens are just as mobile as the workers and won't stay stuck in the test tube, as it were. And to be honest, this is amongst the first footages I've ever taken of these girls, because I've literally put them in the test tube, connected them to the outworld so I could look after them and feed them without disturbing them, and I've put them on my shelf to leave them be. Now you might be looking at it thinking, well Hood, there's not much brood, but as I flip it around you can see that there's plenty of brood. They've got a nice big pile of larvae, there is some eggs there as well. I think a worker just ran off with some, and just out of focus now, there was a pupae. Now I think that's my only pupae I've got at the moment, but slow to start, then they'll pick up. But as you can clearly see here, they are doing really well. I just need to remember not to feed them too much honey water so they can get the protein for the queen to lay more eggs and for the larvae. But as you can clearly, oh, there's that pupae I was talking about. As you can clearly see, a nice pile of eggs in the worker's mouth there, in both the workers' mouths, and there's a nice pile of larvae. So they are doing really well. This is the first time I've noticed this, because literally, I'm not joking, I've put them on the shelf and left them alone so they can be quite content. And to tell you the truth, at room temperature, 25 plus again, they're doing well. They seem to be doing fine, which is great. I definitely recommend that when you get these, that you leave them be for a while, because if you disturb them, as you can see with this ant here, she's grabbed a pile of eggs and she's run into the outworld. Now this has happened a couple of times when I've disturbed them, so I definitely think it's worth, when you get these in foundation stage, attaching an outworld so you can feed them without disturbing the queen, because I think if you try and feed them from the test tube, it could be difficult with them running around everywhere. And I also think that they do react badly to being disturbed, so just bear that in mind. Yet again, a really big thanks goes out to the ant lady for these girls. I have been badgering her, and I mean badgering her, for a while about getting these, and then to spring on me when I bought some other ants, which I've not released onto my channel yet, but I will in the future because they're also doing really well. She sent me these for free, so I totally appreciate that, and I can't big up the ant lady enough for that. So thank you very much, ant lady. It's very much appreciated. I can't wait for these ladies to grow and to develop and move on, pretty much like how my Pheidole nodas have, how you've got them from the start all the way up to the 4,000 plus psychopaths that they are. I want this same kind of like playlist for these girls as well, so stick around. Hopefully you'll be able to follow the trial and tribulations that I have with this Connolly, as you do with all my Connollies. And well, that's it for today then, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, check out my Patreon, there'll be a link in the description down below. Don't often say this, but please like and subscribe, because my channel's really starting to pick up now and I'm getting excited about it and about you guys too. But anyway, I'll stop talking rubbish. One final big thanks to the ant lady. I think I've said it 50 times already in this video, but thanks to her, and I'll see you guys in my next video.